Today I am going to teach you how to make pemmican. If you're wondering what pemmican is, it is a mixture of dehydrated lean meat and rendered animal fat. I am going to be using beef and beef tallow. Pemmican is a wonderful fuel source, especially for those of us who eat only meat. Let's get started. The main component of pemmican are lean meat and fat. Again, lean meat and fat. The meat I will be using today is top round or London broil. You can also use other very lean cuts of meat. One of the most popular is eye of round roast. You will also need some fat trimmings in order to render for tallow. I get mine for free from my butcher. Some butchers sell them for very low price, like 50 cents or $1 a pound. Make sure that there is as much fat as possible in your trimmings. You could also use suet, but I prefer the texture of pemmican made exclusively with fat that comes from the outside of the muscle meat, such as a ribeye roast or a strip steak roast. These are my basic tools for making pemmican. A sharp knife, a food dehydrator. Mine has a temperature control, but that is not strictly necessary. A cast iron pot for rendering the tallow. And a kitchen scale so that you can measure your ingredients and get the desired ratios. You will need to use a food processor or blender. One very important thing to remember about making pemmican is that you must separate the lean from the fat completely before you process it. You have to trim away all of the fatty pieces from your lean meat before you slice it to dehydrate it. And you must separate and trim away all of the meat attached to the fat before you cut it up to render it. This prevents the pemmican from becoming rancid in storage. When the pemmican is made properly, it can last up to years at room temperature, which makes it an ideal food source for those emergencies like blizzards, hurricanes, power outages, or trips to the mall when the only available food is at the food court. No one wants to eat that. To process the meat, we are first going to cut away all of the fatty pieces in it, like this. And this is what your trimmed beef looks like. Completely trimmed away. You will find that there's always some fat marbling in the meat, even in the leanest cuts. You can't really avoid that, but the important part is that the significant parts of fat have been removed away from the meat. Now we are ready to slice it. You want to take your sharp knife and slice the meat about 1/8 of an inch thick. Like this. No more than that. This will make the dehydrating much easier. After your meat has been sliced, you want to put it on your dehydrator trays. Get the meat as close together as possible. That will give you more capacity in your dehydrator trays. It doesn't really matter if the pieces of meat are touching. because as they dry up, they're going to shrink and there will be more than enough space for the air to circulate in the dehydrator. When all your meat is lined up on the trays, you set your dehydrator to 115 degrees, plug it in, and let it sit for 48 hours.